All right. Welcome. Welcome everyone to this live. And let me just see if I can send this over to Facebook. I did it. Oh, I'm learning. This is a great learning curve for me. So welcome everyone to this live Healing Moments program with Karinna. And I'm so grateful to have you all here. It's a beautiful space that we create every month on the first Saturday at 9 o'clock Hawaii time. And there's always a link to check out your local time. I'm so happy to have you here and I welcome you. I'm in Kailua, Hawaii, and we have people joining us from California and from the Netherlands and from Honolulu. And we'll see who else comes in as we keep going. But I just wanted you to know that we're here every first Saturday of the month. And the purpose of our Healing Moments program is dedicated to healing ourselves and moving forward on our evolutionary journeys of love. We're creating a space to answer your questions about healing and consciously creating your world. So together, we're finding the answers to life's big questions, tuning into our hearts and healing ourselves to move into the new dimensional energies. So, and it's also a space for sharing. So I welcome your shares as well. So before we start, I'm going to just open with a prayer. So if you can all just take a deep breath and center yourself, and I call upon the Creator's light, the Christ light, the Goddess weave of love, and all of the guides, the angels, the guardians, and the Goddess lights of everyone listening and everyone who will come on board later through the recording or who's coming in through Facebook. And we pray now that the energies gather of the higher selves of everyone here. We call forth the love for our Healing Moments program this day. And our topic today is first steps to a new way of life on earth, because Creator Source, we know that we are on a journey of evolutionary love. We're so grateful for the golden particles of your loving light that light our paths and help us to tune into our hearts so that we know and feel the truth for ourselves in love. And as we walk forward in love and set our minds forward from here, we know that we're consciously creating a healing journey for ourselves as we move forward into the great shift in consciousness and into a new life on planet Earth. And in humble gratitude, I welcome everyone here to this program. And I ask you now to join me in doing the 5 breath self-healing meditation. We'll just do 1 breath at each of the placements. And so if you need to peek, you can. So here is the first placement is at your crown chakra. So you imagine the golden particles above your crown and then draw them in like a dolphin breath and then lock it in your heart and then weave all 4 bodies. Exhale back through your palms and into your head and just feel that golden light swirling through your cranium. And the second hand placement is at your closed eyelids. Take your index and middle fingers and place them right on the closed eyelids and breathe in like you did before. Breathe it in through the pineal gland and then lock it in your heart and it changes to white light. And exhale up to your shoulders, through your fingers, and all the way back through your eyes to the vagus nerve in the back of your head. And the third hand placement is at your heart muscle, a little bit on the left side of your chest, with the thumbs pointing up towards your neck. Breathe in, lock it, and come on, let the light come down into your heart chakra. Allow it to fill your whole heart space with this beautiful white healing light. The next hand placement is at your third chakra. I got to stand up for this. So you see it right here. Breathe in. Exhale into the third chakra. We have a lot of tension that we might be carrying. And then allow the light to just fill up your whole abdomen. And then the fifth placement is at your second chakra. So breathe in and allow the light to fill this whole area where we have a lot of concerns with our reproductive organs or the bladder. Just breathe and feel that light filling that whole area. So we offer this centered energy of love into our gathering this day. And we offer all of this in love. Amen. All right. So I'm so grateful to welcome a couple more people into the room. Grace, aloha. Everybody's muted right now, but you can probably turn your camera on if you like. If you like, you can turn it on. Just ignore my message if you don't want to. And Katie, aloha, welcome. And I'm really happy to have everybody here today. I wanted to share a little bit about today's topic. So our topic is first steps to a new life on Earth. And that's the opportunity that we all have right now. Because as I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, that we're in a critical time for our Mother Earth, and that we're all shifting into a new dimensional focus on this planet. And however you interpret that, whether you feel like, okay, we're going into the fourth dimension, or we're going into the fifth dimension, or whatever we're doing, everybody's on their own personal journey of awakening now. And that's a beautiful space that you can feel as we go through it. And I welcome your shares on this. I want to talk first about the Lemurian numerology for this month, because we've just entered the 5 month. And it's a beautiful time because 5 in the Lemurian numerology is the number for love. So it's the unconditional love of the Creator's light. And the more we can stay in love this month, because that's the prevailing energy. And if you're wondering about the Lemurian numerology, you can find it on my website, KarinnaNielsen.com. It's in the Lemurian wisdom section. So you can read about the different numbers and how they work. And we also talk about that in the signature cell healing workshops, or the workshops that I do. So what a great month. Pay attention to the double numbers of the 5-5. There's going to, of course, May 5th, and anything that creates a 5 with the day, we got a 5-5. We're still in that prevailing energy this year of 2020, which is a 4. And so we're balancing the 4 bodies: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And we're learning how to weave those 4 bodies in order to move our evolutionary journey forward. So that's the prevailing energy. I don't want to say too much about the astrology of this month because I just dabble in it, right? And I find interesting correlations to things that are happening in our world. But there are a lot of planets that are stationing retrograde this month. So it's going to be an interesting month as far as that goes, when we can start to, there's no Mercury retrograde, but there's many other planets that are stopping from our perspective on Earth and retreating or moving back. From our perspective, they look like they're going backwards in the sky. They're retracing their steps or their movement. And for me, all that means, a retrograde motion means that it's time for us to switch from the left brain into the right brain. So when you feel the tension of not being able to move forward, just relax do that breathing, that 5 breath self-healing meditation, and retrace, go back and look at where you are, and think about what could you know from where you are right now, and then begin to move forward. So let me just say something about the 5 breath self-healing meditation. This is a tool of Lemurian wisdom that comes from my mentor, Kahu Fred Sterling. And Kahu Fred Sterling has been my mentor for over 20 years, and he is the founder of Signature Cell Healing. And that's the Lemurian healing modality that I'm the lead facilitator for now. And this is a centerpiece of the new Signature Cell Healing. So you can find this on the signaturecellhealing.com website. There's a tutorial there. And there's also a trailer where you can see what it's about. So if you want to explore that more, you can. That's something that I recommend that everybody do 2 to 3 times a day. So I do it in the morning, I do it in the evening, and then I do it after lunch, sometime midday. And it helps to keep me centered. So we did just 1 breath at each of the 5 placements, but the complete 5 breath self-healing meditation is 5 breaths at each of the placements. And why is it 5? I already told you, right? Because 5 is the number for love, for unconditional love. So we're taking 5 breaths at each of the meditation. And I'm welcoming Sandra now into the room. Aloha. And Sandra, everybody's muted right now, but we'll be able to take your question later if you have one. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to talk about is our topic today, which is first steps to a new life on Earth. And as these, like I said, these planets are going retrograde, but also we're all in, most places around the world, of course, are in, what do we want to call it? I don't want to call it lockdown. It's not fair. Let's call it, we're in self-isolation, right? And that's all right. And it's a chance for us to be present in the moment of where we are, to discover what we need to discover about ourselves, our families. So a lot is coming up about relationships because, you know, people are together with people they haven't had to be together with for a long time, like spouses, children, you know, whoever's in your family that you're with. For me, I went through this about 5 years ago when I started my own business, and I moved back to this office at home, and I created this office. And that was about, well, that's maybe 6 years ago now. And so I had to make this adjustment to being together with my husband all the time because he works from our home. So here we were together 24/7, and there was an adjustment period, trust me. And because we have really different personalities. My husband is originally from Europe, and I've lived there a short period of time, relatively short, 9 years. That's not that short. However, I'm from Hawaii, and I have that mentality, and he just has a different mentality. It's not like we were fighting or anything, but it can be contentious. So I'm sending my light out to everybody that is might be struggling with relationships that they're in. But my suggestion to you is to just feel what you need to feel right now, and to look at what it's reflecting for you personally, because it's all about self-healing. There is no healing other people until we're healing ourselves. So that's the most important thing that we need to remember right now. So I welcome your shares on that as well, because it's a really difficult time if we resist where we are in the moment. So everything feels really difficult when you're in a form of resistance. So, you know, and that might sound simplistic to a lot of people that are feeling difficulty right now, but I really do feel that we're all going to be where we need to be. And so what do we do about places around the world that are really experiencing critical situations like New York City or northern Italy, or a lot of places that have gone through a lot of really critical times and are still in them now? And my answer to that is, one of them is the global healing meditation for Mother Earth that we do once a month. And this month it's on the 4th, Monday the 4th, which is next Monday at 9 o'clock your local time. So at 9 o'clock your local time, go into meditation and feel this love for Mother Earth and everyone on it. And there's instructions for how we do this, or suggestions. We have a meditation chant that our goddess sister Mahina Ku has done for us. That's available on the web page on my website, KarinnaNielsen.com. You know, there's no charge for any of this. This is just a global meditation of people coming together in love every month. And we send our light from our hearts at 9 o'clock our local time to Diamond Head in Honolulu. So a lot of people know what Diamond Head is. I have some pictures there for you to look at if you're not clear on what it's like. So just send a light from your heart into the crater of Diamond Head, and then tell me what you see in there in your meditation, because you might find a lot of very dynamic energies that have gathered for this meditation. And from there, we take it around the world and we create a weave of healing light. So I invite you to join us in that. That's Monday night at 9 p.m. your time. And you can read more about it on KarinnaNielsen.com. There's a link on the homepage. So that was another thing I wanted to remind you of. And that's what we can do, is we can always send love and light. And yeah, so now I want you to please humor me with my technical abilities on Zoom. It's always a learning curve for me. So I think I've gotten some things going here, but I invite your questions now. So I can see you. I'm going to let somebody else in now. Here's Sandra. Sandra's coming in. Let's just wait till our audio gets going. Aloha, Sandra from Australia, goddess sister. If you have a question, I think there's a feature in the chat where you can raise your hand, and there's maybe a drop-down menu where it says more or something like that. You can actually raise your hand to ask a question. So if you have a share, please do. Noah, if you're feeling like maybe this is a good time, give me a thumbs up. I can see you. Okay, so I'm gonna unmute Noah, and Noah has a really beautiful share that he had an amazing awakening. Noah, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you, yes.
Oh, and I can hear you. Awesome. Please tell us.
So as I was saying to you, I went through a free fall last year. It started very gradually in January, and then, excuse me, it started to hit its straps, as in went to full tilt toward, the end of July. And it went July, August, September, October, November. And it got so intense that I thought, I'd lost my mind and no one had the heart to tell me.
Wow.
Or there was something very right about it. So I was connected with an oracle in Los Angeles. So I made an appointment to go and see her. It comes to the 28th of December. And 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I walk in, this beautiful blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman says, "Sit down, sweetheart, and we'll have a look what's going on." And she closed her eyes, and twice in 30 seconds, she said, "Oh, wow." And I thought, oh, that could go either way. And when she opened them, she looked at me and said, do you know who you are? And I said, no, but I think you're about to tell me. And she said, you are going to change the course of human history and human
Wow.
consciousness forever. And I was obviously stunned. I couldn't have said anything if I wanted to. And then she closed her eyes again, and then she opened them and said, you are the holder, the knower of these ancient scriptures that have never made it into the hands and minds of humanity. And I obviously was just as floored as from the first thing she said. She closed her eyes again and she said, you've written these scriptures, this knowledge, this wisdom before. You wrote them once in the times of the great library of Alexandria, left them with a monk to be archived. They never made it in there. She closed her eyes again. Tears started running down her face. She slapped at her ear. She opened her eyes. She said, then you wrote them again in the times of the crusade and were burned at the stake for it. I had a pad and a piece of paper there beside me, and she said, get your pen and piece of paper and write this down. I said, okay, what am I writing? She said, this conversation here today. And I said, why? And she said, 15 months from today, just right off the cuff, 15 months from today, you will have to play this message for yourself that morning. And I said, why? And she said, to get yourself out the door of where you are. And I said, why? And she said, for your own self-doubt and the doubt of the world. The reading went on and I was just, in awe. Like the rest of the reading in regards to other things was just, mind blowing. Anyway, when I got home, I looked in my phone to make the recording and I thought, what on God's green earth could be 15 months from the 28th of December, 2019. Scrolled through my phone, find out it's the 28th of March, 2021. Well, it's Palm Sunday. And Palm Sunday represents the triumphant return of Jesus into Jerusalem.
Wow.
So I think I'll let you guys do the working out of what that represents.
Wow. Wow, Noah, that is just, thank you so much for being open and trusting us to share that. And I want to remind everybody that, this is a heartfelt share from Noah that we want to keep in our hearts. And, if anyone has any kind of share, you can put it in the chat or, Noah, when you were talking, I was just getting full on chicken skin. We call it chicken skin, all over my body. And what I had was a vision, because I'm a Lemurian goddess, and I believe you are too. Even though you're a man, there can be male goddesses. Goddess is the evolutionary love of creator. And I've been working in the goddess light with Master Guide Kirill and Alfred Sterling, and previously with the Silver Wings of Light goddesses, we had a lot of very spiritual work to do over the last 20 years or so. But just to say that goddess light is a light energy that's within all of us. It's the love of creator inside. And so the goddesses of Lemuria that are destined to reawaken will activate this particle. And even there are men it's happening to them as well now. And because it's an emotional aspect that they're not comfortable with perhaps, and even some women are not comfortable with it. We feel the love for self and creator and this planet and our destiny awakening inside of us. And you had someone point that out to you. But what I saw when you were speaking was your time at the end of Lemuria, because I'm so oriented toward Lemuria, obviously. This was a time this is my orientation to Lemuria, because there are different ones. And it is 30 to 40 to 50,000 years ago, give or take 1,000, right? But the Lemurian continent was in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. And now we see Lemuria as the mountaintops of Hawaii. Hawaii are the mountaintops of ancient Lemuria. And
Right.
so when you go to a place like Haleakala, you feel that beautiful Lemurian energy. So at the ending time of Lemuria, it's not that Lemuria went down. Lemuria rose. The waters rose around Lemuria because the Lemurians had evolved from third to fourth to fifth dimensional energies. And this planet, although it's an evolutionary planet, it is not meant to go beyond fifth dimensional on this planet. And so the Creator asked us, the Lemurians, to reduce the DNA and to venture out from Lemuria to other parts of the world. Some went to Atlantis, some went into what we know now as Asia, some went further down into Australia, which is also part of Lemuria. So that was a time when the goddess lights were offloading the information. And now I get back to your story, Noah, that they were offloading the information to the whales and the dolphins. So part of my energy at that time, because I'm a purple goddess, as you can see by the scarf, there are 7 transitional colors of Lemurian goddess light, and the purple goddess is the goddess that is the record keeper and the weaves the physical and the emotional and holds a vision for all of humanity and Mother Earth. And so part of my Kuleana, or my responsibility, was to get that information in scrolls to the whales. So when you talked about the scrolls, you know, a lot of that came forth again in Alexandria. And of course, there were multiple fires because it wasn't ready for that to come out. And so now we have people like you, Noah, that are coming awake again and activating this amazing energy on planet Earth right now. There's a rising frequency within the population that is elevating the frequency of love on Earth. And I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for having the courage to share that and the courage to go forward now. And I want to encourage you to stay in touch, not just with me, but this is for everyone, that also my mentor, Carl Fred, has has monthly programs as well, which some of you might enjoy. 2 of them are what we call church services, but it's not your typical church. It's a spiritual church. And we've had online services for years. And so one of those will be tomorrow, and you can access that on Kahu's website, which is Kirael.com, KIRAEL.com. And there's a link to get to the Honolulu Church of Light. And that's a spiritualist church. And it's just keeping in contact and creating a network of light workers and healers. That's what it's about. So thank you so much, Noah, for your share. Did that bring up anything else that you wanted to say?
No, I mean, I think like yourself, there is a sense there of being an old, Lemurian from that time. What's interesting, you say this, I've been into metaphysical, shamanic, mystical text for many, many years. My mother and grandmother were into it. And what I realized here, and I think this is part of the information, not close to even all, that's what's going to come through me, but what's part of this new dimension is we're children of the universe, we're children of God. And what hasn't been sold to us or told to us as in being a priority is we're here to manifest the glory of God. We're not here for ourselves. There's no way in the world we could be here for no reason. We must be here for a reason. And that reason is to live God's plan for our lives. This is already predetermined, and this is something that I think has happened to myself time and time again. And because that information hasn't come through, I reincarnate again until this divine design for my life and for humanity, which is all connected, comes through. So that's why I think that's just to share with everybody of, the moment you acknowledge that, you know, I guess the affirmation I want to share with you guys is, infinite spirit, open the way for the divine design of my life to manifest. Let the
Oh, that's
genius
beautiful.
within, yeah, let the genius within me now be released. Let me see clearly the perfect plan. Well, this is what I was saying to myself before the free fall started last year.
Hmm.
And so for me, what that actually means is you were on a path that was not even close to what God has for you. You start affirming that, and then you're going to get swung across to that plan that God has for you. And I believe the plan God has for us is a dream that is beyond anything our reasoning, carnal, mortal mind could possibly imagine.
Well, let me address a couple of things you said there, because that's a very profound share. Um, my in our work in signature cell healing, we know that what you call God, I would prefer to call the creator. And that
Sure.
just has a lot of the connection with the Native American from my mentor, Kahu Fred, who's a Native American shaman. The creator is a force, a source light. And when we decide to incarnate and become human, we go through the process of leaving the creator's light and going through all of the different energies that we do to prepare to be a human. So we go, we talk to our guides, we talk to our angel. I'm not talking about a person. We're talking about you're a particle light, a little golden particle coming from the creator. And you separate from that creator's light when we come here. So we have that journey of separation. We have that journey that we feel separated from the creator's light, but we are never truly separated. However, in order to do a human journey, there need to be these things we call veils. And I believe, Noah, that during that time, when the veils were lifted, that was your free fall, because you were readjusting to knowing that you are the creator. We are all creator source light, and we really have never been separated. It's just a veil that we put there to experience. And gradually, we are lifting those veils as we do the self-healing. So for me, all healing begins with the self. We heal ourselves first into the knowing that we are the creator incarnate. And for us, for goddesses, we begin to know we are the goddess light incarnate. We are love incarnate. And it's the truth for everyone that we are all love incarnate. And we are there. For me personally, I can look back on my life too and think, oh man, I really wish I had done it differently, but I know now that everything was perfect, that everything was, and it is all about my plan that I created with my guides, my angels. There's a blueprint, and one of my guides is Master Imhotep, so I would know about architectural plans, but the energy that we create and put in all these experiences into our blueprint is absolutely perfect. And we journey through that. I mean, I'm talking about evolving our souls, and because we evolve our souls as we're a human particle, we come and we experience these maybe lower vibrational lesson plans. And there's nothing good or bad with that. I mean, it's good or bad according to the law that we've created as humans, but in the creator's light, everyone is equally loved. And they journey through these experiences, and we journey through these experiences to evolve our soul from younger soul to medium age soul to older souls. And this creates a journey for us in evolution. So looking back, I say this for everyone: don't judge yourself so harshly that what you did was bad previously or wrong. Maybe you just want to say, well, I'm going to do that differently now, and do it from this point, and set your mind, like Kahu Fred has said, set your mind forward. Look and see what is your destiny now. Like Noah is sharing with us, he has been awakened to his destiny. And we all must look at that. We all must look at and see where we are in terms of our destiny and what's going to happen now, because life on earth, I mean, let me refer for a moment to the channeling from this month from Sophia. And this is what, here's a new awakening. I'll tell you a new awakening I had last month, because for those of you that know and read my channelings, I have, channeled various energies. And a few months ago, I told you about Goddess Tara and how she had started to come through with messages for me. And that was a really beautiful experience. Well, it's only been a few months when the beginning of last month, I started to feel this really powerful expansion of my heart and this energy of love that was ready to come through, probably based on that I was ready. And so Goddess Sophia, I think Goddess Sophia is like saying goddess twice, right? But it's Sophia. And I'm humbled. I'm very humbled. I'm making a joke, but I'm humbled because my first expression was, why me? How did I deserve this? But I'm honored. I'm deeply, deeply honored. And her the first actual article that we put out together is on my website under the channelings. And what is so beautiful about that is her message for embracing a new awareness for who you truly are. And maybe, Noah, this article was written for you because it's about, we think we know who we are, right? So for many years, we're all kind of muddling through and we think we know who we are. And then suddenly there's this revelation, oh, I'm really not that person, or I was that person, but wait a minute, so there's this process that we go through of evolution where we become our love, the frequency of love that we're emitting and that we're feeling for ourselves becomes stronger. And so we're able to see who we truly are. And, this is what she's saying. Well, let me just get that. In releasing these layers, there will be times that you will want to hold on to the illusion of who you thought you were, to continue to be who you thought you were, doing what you thought you were supposed to be doing in your life on earth. But eventually we're going to feel the truth of who we are. And this is the process of ascension. This is the process of moving from the third dimension into new dimensional focus. So I'm really grateful that that we have this opportunity to read a message from Sophia, and the reflection. Also, she's talking about the reflections of people in our lives that either hold us back, we allow them to hold us back, or they move us forward. So, we can choose to look at that. I don't know if you've read the article and you have questions or shares about it. I think what it's about is creating a new rhythm to our lives on earth. And that's kind of what we're all engaged in right now. So thank you, Noah, for that share very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Do we have other questions? I'm seeing, a message from Sandra in Australia, Sandra Mulligan. And she says, thank you for sharing your experience. Aloha, my darling goddess of light. Thank you. We were together, Sandra and I, and how many were we there? 15 goddesses at Uluru in the middle of Australia, doing a very significant hook release. And maybe I can just talk a little bit about, since I use the term hook release, the energies of the third dimension or any dimension on any planet are etherically anchored to the planet. So the matrix is a patterning of thought, and it's actually a system of numbers. It's kind of like what you saw in what you might have seen in that movie, The Matrix, when all the numbers fell down and suddenly Neo had a take on how this world was put together. It was a violent movie, but it had a lot of truth in it. And so, this idea of a patterning of thought that keeps us anchored in a third dimensional yin yang world, this is what many people are struggling with right now, because it's dissolving, it's leaving us, and there are many people trying to hold on to the previous way of doing things, and it's just not going to be there anymore. It's, everyone knows it's dissolving. So anyway, our process for many years in the Goddess Light was traveling around the world to different sacred areas and releasing these etheric hooks in ceremony that was holding the third dimension to the planet. And one of the last ones that we did, I believe is the most significant one we did, was at Uluru in the middle of Australia, a very, very sacred part of the world. And so what that does is, you know, you're probably asking yourself, well, so what? You know, what does it do? What it does is it allows for the fourth dimensional energies, or you know, however you look at that. I hate to use numbers because people will say, oh, it's the fifth dimension or whatever. But let's just say the higher dimensional energies, the next awareness of love that our planet will resonate to, is allowed to come in now and anchor. It will be anchored to the earth. And that sounds hard to say, anchored or hooked or anything like that. But what will happen was there'll be a collective consciousness of love that is a higher frequency of what's been here previously. And people like Noah, great teachers of the world that are coming awake now, will be a part of creating that higher frequency. And people will, it's almost like entrainment, that more and more people will resonate to this love and be willing to let go of what's been there before. So it's a process also of letting go. So let me see, I'm just trying to keep track of what's going on and people coming in and going out. So I think we got everybody in there. Does that bring any questions for you? Because we're just kind of at the end of our time. We're usually here for about 45 minutes to an hour. So if you have anything else you'd like to share or comment on, I wanted to let you also know that, let me just do something here. Okay, so just so I come on the mainframe, I wanted to let you know that we're also going to be having this online series called First Steps to Signature Cell Healing. And I'm going to pull up the thing here so I just make sure I get all the information right. But we're starting this Thursday, and it's going to be live on Zoom. And this is something that I created together with my gracious hosts from the Netherlands, Thea Bowen and Thomas Klerks. And they have been the most wonderful people to work with. I just love them dearly. And I was so looking forward to going to the Netherlands in July, but that unfortunately is not going to happen right now. It maybe will happen later this year. I really pray, because I'm so excited to go back to Europe. Together we asked ourselves, what do people need right now? And I thought, well, maybe I could do an online level 1 workshop for signature cell healing. But that's just really hard to do because you need to practice and you need a partner and all these things. So then we thought, what does the world need right now? And what the world needs now, it sounds like a song coming on, right? It's love, sweet love. Well, what the world needs now is self-healing. And we're all at home, and it's an opportunity for me to share with you the self-healing techniques from signature cell healing. So we're calling this series, and it's the first time anybody's done this. I just created it, you know, it has a slide presentation and everything, and we're going to be interactive like this. And Thea and Thomas are going to help me manage, you know, the chat room, and Thea will be there with me, which I'm really grateful for. It's going to be on 3 Thursdays, the 7th, the 14th, and the 21st of May. And we've geared it toward the people in the UK and Europe. I have to say the UK and Europe now because they pulled out, right? Anyway, it's for Europe. And we wanted to do it at the evening time, just after dinner, which makes it a little early for me, 7 a.m. Good thing I'm an early riser. But I'm looking forward to getting up early and being with everyone. It's only 2 hours every Thursday, so it's 6 hours, and we're going to learn the self-healing techniques in signature self-healing. So I'm going to be there for you and for your questions. When you register on signatureselfhealing.com, and there's a link right at the top of the homepage, a little green link, and you can click on it and go right to the page. You're going to get the self-healing resource bundle. It's a digital resource bundle with 2 ebooks, MP3s, 2 video tutorials, and it's worth about $36. So, I mean, your registration of $99 is defrayed right there, right? So I think it's a pretty reasonable amount, and we'll be able to take questions and shares and just be together online. I think it's a great opportunity. And so if there's a page on my website in the Signature Cell Healing section and also on the homepage, or you can go to signatureselfhealing.com. There's also a lot of really great ebooks, video tutorials, MP3s. There's like almost 100 MP3s for $5 a pop on Signature Cell Healing online store. It's pretty dynamic what you can find in there. There's just years and years of wisdom from Kahu Fred Sterling, my mentor and master guide Kirill. And that's what I cut my teeth on, so to speak. You know, that's when I started, when I was just about 40. I had no idea about spirituality. I had no idea about anything. And I found Kahu Fred Sterling and Master Kirill here in Honolulu, and stayed with them over the years, and was his event promoter and publisher over the years, and had various different capacities in working with Kahu. But it's just the wisdom that's been created over those years. You can find a lot of it on signatureselfhealing.com, or you can also go see Kahu at KarinnaNielsen.com. And my website, which will link you right over there, is KarinnaNielsen.com. Please stay in touch with me. My email address is Karinna@KarinnaNielsen.com. And we'll be, like I said, gathering together tomorrow at the Honolulu Church of Light for the Sunday service. It's a healing service. And then don't forget the Global Healing Meditation for Mother Earth at 9 p.m. Email me your shares. I'd love to hear what happens when you get in the crater and start going around the world. And then also we'll be back here next month on 6/6, June 6th, 6/6, the Mastery Month. So I pray to see that you'll come in for the first steps, which starts Thursday. Any last shares? I'm just going to check in here. Yes, Sandra is saying, confirming the Uluru adventure, and we had wonderful times there. So thank you. Yes, Sandra's asking what time at the Honolulu Church of Light. It is 9 a.m. Hawaii, which Sandra, that might be early morning for you the next day, something like that. Check it out. But there's a recording, right? It goes into YouTube, so you can always find the recording. So I just want to also put in a share from Sandra in Massachusetts. It says, such a profound statement that we are love incarnate and inner understanding of that statement. We've got some other messages here. Statement, hard for me, if not also others, to manifest and apply consistently. Perhaps some of us don't yet have such a specific message to receive and calling to work with as Noah has. But we know, or are starting to know, that we are way off on our destined paths. So we know that we have soon to let ourselves go of the present life. I personally need help in accomplishing this, for in my situation, it's multifaceted or layered. Your services offered are awesome. Thank you, Sandra. Yes, I agree. We're all going through these layers honestly, I don't feel that I'm any different from you, Sandra, or anyone else. I feel like we all have a personal blueprint that we created. And I will grant you, you got a challenging one. We all might feel that our own is very challenging, but you've got a challenging one. And I think as we go through it and feel the love, it's the question is, Master Cure always says this to me, more love, more love, more love. And and I I I agree with that. The more that I'm in love and I get out of fear and I get out of anger or frustration with other people, that's a big one. The more I feel the love for myself and others and just say, you know, okay, that's their plan. I'm going to be in love. It can be very humbling, but it's very rewarding and it feels a whole lot better to me to be in love than in anger and fear. And that might sound simplistic, but the more that you work at it, the better it gets. So keep doing the 5 breath self-healing meditation. Focus on yourself, yourself, yourself for healing, because everything that I need to know is going to be reflected back from other people around me. That's the beauty of our human experience. Everything is a reflection to me to learn. So Sandra, thank you so much. I love you, and I know you're on this wonderful, beautiful journey. Sandra, aloha to you in Australia. Thank you all so much for joining